Hello and welcome to the Stacked Deck. We have finally decided on a name, and this one is 100% not changing. You can quote me on that in the future. My name is Rylanor, and we have a lot to talk about with Unleashed, about to be unleashed. And I know that we've all been going to a bunch of pre-rifts. So today we're kind of going to be covering our pre-rift experience, our initial kind of thoughts on Unleashed, and we're going to kind of parlay that conversation into a tier list of the new Unleashed legends, and talk about kind of first impressions and what we're expecting out of the set. But before we get into that, I want to introduce the rest of the co-hosts, starting with...
Yeah, Hydra 312. Unfortunately, you can't see me today, but yeah, happy to be here, ready to discuss.
Oh, it's me? All right. Okay. It's Stardust. I'm sure some of y'all know me, some of y'all don't. But we here. I am also off cam today, but you get an overlay of my pretty face.
Not so pretty.
Fortunately, he's off. Unfortunately, Hydra is off.
I'm not off. I'm on. I'm
Okay,
always
the
on.
handsome ones are on. The handsome ones are on. It's all that's all.
I'm Zedril. There we go. Let's start this.
All right, so just quick poll in the chat. How many pre-rifts did everybody go to?
I went to 5 total. Yeah.
Yep. I went to 4.
Yeah, I think I went to about four or 5.
Okay, I went to 4, and I didn't do Spirit Forged pre-rift. I was traveling at the time. I was unable to do it. I heard really good things about Spirit Forged pre-rift. Some strange things about the Yone. Everybody being able to use the Yone, and then obviously that not being the case with the Ash. But it was my first pre-rift, and I think that this might have been a tough one to start with, because I thought that a lot of the experiences kind of died or were blessed by what leader pack you opened. Am I alone in thinking that, or was that kind of everybody else's experience as well? What do you think, Hydra?
Yeah, no, that is definitely same experience. Thankfully, I did get Ivern about 3 times, so that kind of facilitated what I was doing every pre-riff. I'm like, okay, I know what to do. But one of the times I got Diana, it felt awful, especially going against either Master Yi or even Kha'Zix for some reason. Was pretty tough. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of imbalances when it comes to this seeding packs.
What did you think, Stardust?
Yeah, I think that there were definitely inherently strong ones, right? You had like Master Yi, that the kit was just strong, right? You had a charm in it, you had a +3, a might. The kit was strong. You had a turn 2 play at all times, right? Very, very strong. And yeah, I think each deck had inherently like their own gameplay. But I think the best one was actually one you had to pull. I actually think my favorite was probably Rengar. I think Rengar was just busted. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. If you pull that, it's pretty sweet.
I got unlucky a lot of the times. All my decks were based with Vi, and I got a Jhin, probably the worst pack. But I won every single match except one, so not that bad. So winners perform. Yeah, the only time I win is at a non-regional, non-important tournament.
We need to quote that with his record.
Yeah, it's good.
I got his quote. I play bad every tournament.
I play bad. Hey. But it was fun. I guess. Everyone pulled signature cards except me. I got the most packs. I got everything terrible. Yeah, including you. Yeah, I see your face, bro. I see your face.
Okay, so briefly,
just brag, bro.
Outside of gameplay, something that I really wanted to talk about is all but one of the pre-rifts I went to, somebody pulled a signature card. And like, I had never seen a signature card. I'd never seen one get pulled. There was I'm forgetting his name, Kevin, but we had the signature Kaisa that ended up showing up in the Clarksville area, but I'd never seen one get pulled in person. I pulled a signature Vex, I saw somebody pull a signature Yi. I saw somebody pull a signature Ivern, and
What?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what they did, but I feel like these packs were seeded for some of the most insane hits I've ever seen in my life. And the reason that I say that is because outside of the pre-rift kits, every box that I've seen opened has been terrible. And this is all very anecdotal evidence, right? But the pre-rift hit for epics, I've seen multiple barons, multiple signatures, multiple overnumbers. I have a Yi overnumber myself. I have multiple Yi epics, and the boxes have been terrible. So look, I'm not upset with, pre-rifts having like really, loaded heavy packs, but I definitely feel like something was weird for this pre-rift. But this could just be a me experience, because Hydra, I hear that you didn't have very good success with your pre-rift kits.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can tell you right now, we had the same experience when it comes to witnessing. Someone pulled a better than epic over number signature, whatever you want to call it. Same experience in 3 of the pre-rifts
Like
I went
this one.
to. Yeah, like that one. Specifically that one too. I'll add. Someone pulled Leblanc signature, and then someone else pulled, I think, I don't know.
I know Vex. A Vex.
Well,
a
yeah,
literal
I know
Vex.
Vex, but
Yeah.
someone else pulled something in Arclight. One of the ones I went alone to. As far as my packs, I probably bought like an extra 3 kits to hit nothing. I think our best hit throughout myself and all the other packs we won just for free was the Veteran Poro Altar, which is the worst one out of all of them.
No, the better. Oh,
Yeah,
no.
the worst one out of all of them.
Oh, no.
That's
So
tough.
yeah, I definitely.
And
felt
you
the
forgot
luck.
to mention that we second and first split the pricing, and my packs had garbage, and he got an overnumber. Vex. That was awesome
is,
too.
That's also true. Yeah, so
It was garbage, bro.
That was our experience, because it was tough. It was tough seeing everyone happy while we won and while we won free packs and look sad. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stardust, yeah.
Yeah, no,
the
I
same
think
thing happened to Stardust.
well actually, so
When you won
contrary
like 50 packs and
to
hit nothing.
contrary to Rylanor, like I only saw one person open a signature out of all of the pre-riffs, and all the events I went to were pretty packed, and I only saw one signature. Um, but I think similarly in Spirit Forge, like it was one in every event. Like somebody was pulling a signature. So maybe there is some sort of mapping. Maybe there isn't. It's just very interesting. The odds of pulling something like I remember people were selling the pre-riff kits of Spirit Forge for like $100, and there was only like 5 packs, and it was because people were pulling like so well off of it. So maybe they still are doing that. I personally didn't see it this time, but there is a possibility that that's happening. Going to the other point that they're mapping the boxes. I don't think they would map the boxes. Maybe the pre-riff kits, but definitely not the boxes, because that's gonna be the long-term money maker,
Yeah,
right?
no, I'm totally
And
comfortable with
so
that.
oh yeah, no, I get it. But also, yeah, so we have the boxes and firsthand, so at one of the stores that we support, like 3 of us bought a case each, and statistically we should have gotten, we should have gotten a Baron, and there was no Ultimate Baron and no signatures out of 3 boxes. So maybe there is some truth to what Rylanor is saying, but I don't know. Like the math isn't mathing, right? So yeah, that's
Yeah,
my
and
experience at least.
I'm happy to sit here and bemoan and complain about like poor hits, but like I feel like my Unleashed, I've opened 2 boxes, dude, the worst boxes out of like any PCG I've ever opened, and I'm getting a lot of duplicates.
Signatures complaining, bro.
No. I want to be clear. I want to be clear. I was blessed with the pre-rift kits. But the boxes have been terrible. Zedril, is losing his mind right now.
Dude,
This
that's
is
crazy,
amazing.
bro. I'm
This
like,
is
oh
amazing.
man,
Look,
man,
no,
I
no,
just
this
got a
isn't enough for
signature.
me, man. I need 3 more of these. Obviously, that's what I'm getting at. No.
Yeah,
no.
bro. I've seen
The
Elder
boxes
Drake.
have been rough. The boxes
I-
have been rough.
I've seen an Elder Drake, and I see it, and I feel nothing for it because I know people got garbage, and I it's insane, bro. It's
Well,
whatever.
There's going to be plenty more discussion about, box hits. I'm probably buying one more. I know that Hydra is doing the double down until I make all my money back.
100%, 100%, man.
With boxes.
I'm going all in.
All in, baby, all in. But going back to, the reason that these cards exist, which actually might just be collecting, but talking about playing with the pre-rift, I think that I don't want to be overly negative on the idea of pre-rift because I understand that some of the things that I might say might sound overly negative on the idea of pre-rift. I just think that maybe this is a really tough set for that because of the XP mechanic and how conceptually the XP mechanic is so parasitic, right? Like, I feel like you look at a legend like Diana, who I do think is going to be really good and constructed, the power level of the cards that Diana can pull from her starter deck for a pre-rift deck and the cards that she can pull from, like, the packs are not as strong as if you have the Master Yi deck and you open up an extra Gromp. Like, if you get, like, one hold with a Gromp, the game's basically over. Like, genuinely. That was my experience, right? And even beyond that, like, maybe it's also just Master Yi, because I played Poppy, and Poppy did not feel good, because she can't use XP nearly as well as, like, Master Yi can. So, I don't know. What did you guys think as far as, like, the balance of the legend pre-made decks, and is this the best way for them to do it? Was this just maybe a tough set for pre-rift experience?
I think they could have chosen a different legend than Master Yi. I think just that one specifically, you get so much from the pack itself, and you have to conquer, let's say, probably 2 to 3 times, maybe like twice if you get a Grand plus Yi, whatever the case it is. I think it's so much easier to play and play around the legend itself, compared to Diana using that one power in showdowns, or Jhin. You just unlucky if you play Jhin. I don't know what your plan was when you showed up with a Jhin.
Take it apart.
Yeah, so it's tough for sure, but it's like I think the only comparable legend to Master Yi was Ivern. And that's because he has the same kind of just
synergy piece.
Yeah, just another game plan where you get all these cards that just go so well with your legend, and you create your bush, and then you stack it, and like, okay, cool. I don't think any cards in the pre-rift can probably get over all of this. Yeah. So yeah, I win. So yeah, that made it easy.
Bush and you tap the Ultra Soft Poro once.
Oh yeah, it's over,
okay.
Man. It's over, man.
Right.
Yeah, but that's how I felt. Yeah, they definitely, I think, could have picked a different legend. I think that's what I got from that, at least.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think that with some of the pre-riff kits were just better than others. Diana, you get infinite value plus the -4. Yi, you just play a storm deck and you just turn 1, you play a hunt card, right? You get an XP. Turn 2, you reinforce that hunt card with mastery, and now you're basically already at 6th level. So yeah, it's just seems like. Yeah, once you get to level 6, everything's +1, so you just play a bunch of small units. I think the Ivern legend or the pre-riff pack is it's not bad. I wouldn't say it's like god tier. I honestly think Diana's a little better, but to each their own, right? But yeah, there's definitely some power imbalance, because then if you get Jhin, it's just like the funniest part is that I was watching the table next to me while I was playing. I look over, right? He's about to proc Jhin, get 4 runes, right? Draw cards, all this crazy stuff. We're like, oh, dude, he got the Exodia, right? And I'm like, okay, he got Exodia. He's doing good. I'm playing. And I look back over, his board's cleared. He has nothing left. I'm like, dude, what happened? Like, I thought he got the Exodia, like, you know what I mean? He got the win condition and nothing happened. So I was like, okay, well, yeah, I guess that's firsthand experience of that's just, it doesn't matter if you get the Exodia, it's just not good enough. So, yeah, I think that if you're gonna, play a pre-riff kit and you're going for something and you see Jhin, you might as well just not even play the legend to get that free draw, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that's probably your best bet. Yeah.
You're-
Zutra.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the same logic you apply with Vi. Like you always take her legend away. She has a really solid unit, at least the kit wise.
Yellow Vi was very strong.
Yeah. I think I will actually say Vi, even though she's one of the quote unquote weaker ones, I think had a lot of flexibility. Especially if you can lean on one archetype, just the yellow side, and the stun mechanic was really strong. Hey, I got 3 Vi's, bro. I get it.
Bro.
Yeah, she was good. I think she was playable. Stuns are really powerful in this format, just by the nature of negating power and like charms or whatever other random stuff you people would get. So
we saw a couple people play the yellow Vi wrong though, because it's only when attacking.
Oh,
they're using defensively. That's crazy.
Ambushing. Okay.
Yeah.
That is. I mean, sometimes it works, I guess, but that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, no, but like for the stun. So I think ultimately like. And it's pre-rift. Like I don't want to put too much stock in it, and everybody's there for the packs anyway, right? It's not like sealed is like the craziest experience. I just think that the point that Hydra brought up about maybe they should have picked a different legend is like a very salient one, because my biggest problem with pre-rift and if you open up a Jhin and then you decide to not play Jhin, you can call the person who did that like a quitter or whatever, right? Like whatever, that's fine. But like, I actually had a lot of trouble with if you decided to pick a legend that you pulled, you couldn't. So if you opened a Jhin red blue, and you decide to play a legend that is not red blue, you're not building a deck. Right? And that's obviously a choice that you make, right? Instead of playing this legend, or instead of playing Jhin, like, I'm going to play a different legend. But, like, based on the distribution of cards that I opened in the number of packs that you get, I opened up a Jhin pre-release kit, I pulled a Poppy, and I had a couple XP cards. I was like, all right, I'm going to try to play Poppy. I didn't build a deck. I just took all of the, orange and green cards, because those are the XP colors, and put them together, and then added like 2 purple cards because I had the little acorn guy that gets experience when you move from a battlefield. But like pivoting from the pack that you get, because the starter deck pack that you get contains half of a 25 card deck that you need, is difficult to do in a meaningful way.
I mean, part of the cards, bro. Something to get the packs.
Yeah,
Dude, I made a Leblanc deck. And I started with Vi, yellow, and maybe used 3 of the cards. But I mean, yeah, that's the whole point of sealed, right?
The point of that is, I choose to not play the Jhin legend because the Jhin legend is terrible. So it would be better. I probably wouldn't be in that situation if there was, maybe a better balance of the cards, or the decks, or the legends. And I'm not sure if it's just...
Silk Song, ever heard of the term Silk Song? Get good! That's what I'm going to tell you, bro.
Whatever. Say it again.
Say it again.
Okay,
That's a her face.
Hey, I won it. But I won the pre-rift, okay?
Wow.
Loser, bro. You got the petty reward. You got the $2,000 petty reward.
Oh,
yeah.
What's that scene from Zombieland where he's crying into the
yeah.
Monopoly money? All right, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm kind of excited for pre-rifts in the future. Hopefully, it's.
Did you not have fun? I mean, you had fun, right? Did you feel like you had fun?
I had fun. No, I had fun, and I'm hoping that we're a little bit more balanced in the future. But like, I don't know, it's interesting. I feel, as somebody who played Magic for a long time, Magic is like heavily dedicated to sealed and like draft, and like, I think a lot of other card games do it because it's a familiar thing, and I think it can be good, but it's different, and obviously they don't have as much time and experience. But I'm looking forward to pre-rifts in the future, and obviously just getting your hands on the cards early is just always the best. That being said, there was a Nexus night tonight that I decided not to go to because I already put a bunch of unleashed cards in my decks, and they're like, yeah, you can't use those. And I just didn't want to like downgrade all my decks for the next 2 days and then have to re-upgrade them. So whatever, not a big deal. Anybody else got closing thoughts on pre-rift?
I mean, it was fun. Had a good time. And yeah, I mean, I'm sad from the pulls. I hope they were better, and I hope the boxes I'm getting on Friday are substantially better. But that's it.
Boxes be blessed.
Nothing in terms of like actually pre-riff. I would say that for those who are watching, it is a good time to sell. Riot came out with
Oh yeah.
Riot came out with plentiful product. There's always a hype of there's always a hype of cards before the actual release happens, so the prices are a little higher than they should be. And so if you have an opportunity to sell your cards, it's a good time to sell, and you could always pick them back up. So yeah.
We're short selling right now.
Shocked. I will say this: I'm actually shocked. Even with the pre-sale prices, the signature spells for a lot of this powerful decks are still cheaper, significantly than Origin or Spring. It's kind of crazy.
Spinning axes go from $50 to $3.
Dude, I paid $35, and I thought it was a good deal. So that should tell you something, bro.
Oh god, yeah. Well,
yeah.
I bought 3 white flames for 80 apiece.
That's it. Don't worry, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I
know.
I needed them. All right.
Yeah, now they're garbage. But yeah.
But moving from one format to another, we're going to talk a little bit about. Well, actually, we're just going to do a tier list of the Unleashed Legends. It's not going to be a full tier list with all the legends. That's going to be like a
way too long, bro.
Twice a year, maybe. Like if we feel like it, gonna have to take some PTO in order to do some of those. I think.
Facts.
But we're gonna hop into a tier list of the Unleashed Legends. So we got a little tier list up here. Made some adjustments to the categories and the names. But we are going to start off with Poppy. And Hydra, I want you to lead the conversation on Poppy because I know that you were very interested in playing this deck.
Yeah, it's tough for me to say, but I think if you're playing this deck, you're gonna be forced to play Aurora like every other orange deck. The reason for that is because I think if you try to play your mid-range or you try to play towards the XP mechanic, kind of like you mentioned with Master Yi, I think she's the weaker when it comes to utilizing it, because you can only get one card draw even if you're have 9 XP, whatever the case it is. You tap it, get what you call one card draw. Okay, cool. Compared to getting stats, getting abilities, getting whatever the case it is that Master Yi has. So that automatically just makes her weaker. Her champions, I guess the yellow one's better in theory, because I think if you play the orange version, you're probably gonna lose, even if it comes in ready. It's a 5-my unit, and usually you're already on the back foot to begin with. The yellow one's a little better because they can come in as a 5, but you pay 3. So I think that's what the majority of people are choosing. But yeah, I think this is just going to be another Aurora deck. It's going to be on the weaker end, to be fair as well. And if you try to play your mid-range, it's going to be, I don't know, I've seen decks that have, what's the weapon that you can equip for 1 XP and it gives you 1 XP? Yeah. So I've seen decks with that. Obviously, I've seen decks with, the typical Sabotage, Challenge, whatever the case it is. But I think there's really nothing that gets you over the late game if you go into that scenario. You somehow have to, I would say, even pray that you get your units, get somehow on the board, and then be able to defend. I will say that the new counterspell is pretty good just because it's Repulse. It's like the new version of, like, I guess what would be a green deck. Not so fast, but a little worse since it's only at a battlefield. But since you have to technically hold if you want to use her mechanic, it makes it a pretty good card, a solid card really if you're playing Poppy. But I'm gonna place her on, like, I'm gonna say playable just for Aurora. But if it wasn't for that, I think it'll be a table 500 for sure.
Okay. What do you think, Stardust?
I mean, he's the Poppy Pro. Like I agree with that. Yeah. I mean, the signature spell. I don't think it brings
Yeah.
too much value to it. I think. I don't think there's enough for it to be good yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the signature spell's pretty much rebuke, but you,
But it's
you
like-
kill it. You kill a draw. Yes, but if they're gonna play that 5-cost unit like that
Again,
monster, okay, worst rebuke. Not your worst rebuke, but just rebuke.
I don't think I would want to put something at the top of the deck if they were going to play it again in the next turn, unless there's some weird like power energy cost. Like if they had a battlefield, I probably would put it in the top because then they could just play that battlefield. But like you know, that depends. Especially if it's like strong extra or something. What do you think of you?
Aurora. Aurora game, it's bad. Like the fixed mechanic, like probably a lot of the extreme mechanic cards, just generally with all of them, is that like the ones that provide a lot of XP are too expensive for the cost, and with like if they give you more, so a lot of the cards early just give you Hunt 1. It's very difficult to actually play around that, and Hunt 2, they overvalue it, so they make the cost way too high, and it's very difficult to actually play that type of play style. I mean, so if you're actually trying to go for the extreme mechanic, good luck. Good luck.
Oh man.
You know, but the strongest warriors, you know.
Yeah. I think that this champion is or I think that this legend is like borderline stone cold unplayable. Like genuinely.
Wow.
Like I think
What about Aurora?
I think that this legend could have said when you hold, gain 1 XP for every unit that you hold with, and that would make it like more playable. But like the fact that you need to play a hunt creature, you need to conquer with the hunt creature.
Yep.
You hold, like, okay, maybe turn 2 you get to draw an extra card with your legend ability, maybe, right? Like if you are playing like these hunt units, but like the fact that like it's at most draw 1 card conditionally, and I don't think that the payoff of being able to spend 3 XP to draw a card is going to be worth playing in a deck that is already kind of disadvantaged by the fact that I think that holding is still really bad in this game. And like I think that you would need to play enough cards to get all of the XP that you needed, that like you weren't getting the extra XP from the hold. And if you're playing Aurora with this deck, you're not even playing a legend. Right? Like you're not holding with Aurora in like a meaningful way, right?
Yeah.
So I think Poppy's terrible, and I think that that's compounded by the fact that Fiora is disgustingly insane in this meta.
Mm-hmm.
Set is disgustingly insane in this meta. Dude, Sacrifice is a bonkers card, right? And I've been playing on the sim a lot. I've played against a lot of Fioras, a lot of sets. They're very strong. So I think Poppy is I think she's like stone cold unplayable, unfortunately. So
Metal Chaser.
Want to do
Metal Chase.
table 400?
Do you have the what's up?
Yeah, table 500. Is that what we're going with?
Yeah.
Do you have the
Yeah.
like? Do you see the updated names on the tier list website?
I see. No, probably not. It's just meta defining, very good, playable.
Okay, so I made some changes. They didn't save. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
I'm putting her. I have S tier, top cut, middle of the pack for the love of the game, and then I use the best of card as a bench scraper. Those are the categories that I made, but we can update that later.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm putting Poppy at the bottom. If you guys
garbage.
disagree, I think she's garbage.
Okay.
I think she's garbage.
I think she's a table 500 just from the Aurora mechanic that you can randomly turn the wheel and you spin it out.
Bad Garen gets that.
Exactly.
So,
and one Garen made day
She's
too.
not better than Garen, right?
Hey.
I think she's garbage. All right. Next up, we got Jhin. We got this is a hell of a back to back. What do we think about Jhin Hydra after we just spent all that time talking about Jhin?
let's not start this first. Let's see the man, the legend.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's start us.
Dude, bro, I don't know. Jhin, like, like you're trying to play like this niche kind of thing where you're spending 4 mana, and I don't know. It just doesn't. None of the cards really make sense to me. Like his signature card, don't get me wrong, it's pretty good, but then you have that bouncing bullet thingy. Like what is that name? What's the name of that card?
Bouncing grenade, bouncing
Bouncing
something.
grenade,
Bouncing something, right? And it's just it doesn't make sense. Like in actual League of Legends, you got a character that has a unique like the four you attack 4 times and it gets really good. Like in this, like you would think it's really good. You have 4 runes, you draw a card. Dude, I don't know, man. It's just like by the time you get 4 runes or by the time you banish 4 cards, like dude, the game's over already. Like, yeah, you get your 4 runes, but you lose. So I don't know. I just don't see how. Like, yeah, I think the game is too. It's like a bad Aurora where you have to invest a lot into like something to not get a lot out of it. So I don't know. I gotta put it at a D or unplayable tier.
It's Garen, bro. It's literally the new Garen.
Yeah.
I thought that
Dude,
was
no,
Poppy.
because you're playing the same color combination as Kaisa, but it's like a slower like you burn runes throughout the game, but you get the payout later. So, but it still makes you have a weaker. You have no legend ability until what, turn 6? You can't even play a 4-cost spell at turn 2. So when are you actually gonna play this spell out and get this massive payout? It's just I don't know, man. It's just badly designed. It's garbage. It's just badly designed. Like, and Jin's cool. I like Jhin. Jin's cool.
Oh man.
Unplayable garbage, bro. Unplayable garbage. Rumble's better. Rumble is the new better than Jhin. That's not the truth.
Hydra, what you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with any of them. I think that yeah well, it feels like they try to make him like too unique, to where we got this garbage out, and I don't know. This is gonna be the same thing as like some of the other bad legends, where you just get the people that really love the champion and then just stick with it until it rotates out, probably, where it becomes best, where it becomes better, whatever the case it is. But I think it's just too slow. If you play against a LeBlanc, Lillia, you're probably auto lose within the first 4 turns. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. Not looking forward to playing Jhin. Yeah, I think I think he's worse than Poppy. I think he might be the worst Unleashed legend in my opinion.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that.
I would agree with that. I think ultimately, like, he's just like the worst of every world, right? Like if you're playing so 4-cost and below spells can still be defied.
Yep.
Right? And now we have spells that, like, and there's a couple of them where it's a 2-cost repeat too. So like you could
Defiable.
dump 4 mana into it. I mean, it still can get defied, and now you just wasted the energy. I think we have more counter spells than ever. I think a lot of people are going to be running stuff like Not So Fast, because that's how you counter Elder Dragons.
Or Abandon.
Or Abandon. And it's 4-cost, so if you get Abandoned, you're not playing that again unless it's a repeat spell, in which case, if you're playing it for 2, you're not proccing Jhin, right? So, like...
So wait, hold on. So I think there's a rule change on that where it only it only checks how much you spent on it rather than it being played.
So it's like a Legion effect. They do the new Legion
So-
effect.
Yeah,
even if,
I think that might have
So
changed.
even with that being the case, that almost doesn't change the point, Like, you're still spending 4, and eventually you're getting to trigger Jhin, but, like, you play a 4-cost spell. You're playing a spell on turn 2 if you're trying to power out Jhin.
Yeah.
Right? And that doesn't feel good unless maybe you're using it to snipe, like, a backline with the
Piercing Light. That'd be that. Let's say the optimal play. You Piercing Light, but then you de-ramp yourself to runes. So you're still at 2 mana. So it's garbage.
And not just that. Like, I feel like you have to, I don't know, sequence spells in a way in order to actually make use of the 4 runes. I just think it's way too complicated to use optimally and way too slow to have a legitimate payoff, right? Like, even with the rule change, because you're right about that, Stardust. Like, doesn't matter. don't think so, right? Ultimately, I don't think so. I think the best thing to come out of the Jhin deck is I think blue Jhin is really good, where you can pay 1 power for him. If you've cast a spell that costs 4 or more, I think that card's really good. But I do think Jhin is, I don't know if he's worse than Poppy. He's worse than Poppy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then, I would put Jhin as the worst Unleashed Legend.
Special place in hell. Special place in hell.
After that, we have Rengar. And Rengar's an interesting one because this is the first legend where we kind of got to see him play. I know that Stardust played him at a couple of the Unleashed pre-rifts, as he was mentioning, but we don't have like a constructed deck for him that like we were able to get our hands on. It was just something that like we had to build, and obviously that's going to be suboptimal to a degree. So Zedril, what do you think about Rengar?
I just think it's good. I know the purple Vex is a problem because of the sun ability and the lack of mobility, but the ability to just get 1 or 2 might, it's the equivalent of 1.5 in my mind. Depending, like 2 might is like 1.5 mana worth of value, and you can play up to something. I've seen Rengars play 3 or 2 units or even 4 units, and that's a lot of might out of nowhere.
Starts to feel exponential at that point.
Yeah, and I actually think the deck is playable, like even in this meta, especially with like some of the might numbers are big enough to challenge a lot of the LeBlanc matches, and the numbers get big enough, so I think it's playable. But I don't know. I played a little bit.
Yeah, I'm interested in Rengar because I think that one of the things that I mentioned on the podcast like a while ago is like being worried about combat and Unleashed because it's gonna get like insane. I feel like I'm going into Rengar matchups like paranoid as hell about what they have in their hand and like what units are gonna come out randomly and what that's gonna be like. And I think winning combat's gonna be pretty hard against this deck. I would say Rengar's probably like middle of the pack. I haven't explored too much into what the builds are. But I know that Orange is pretty strong right now. But I haven't seen Rengar put up any significant performances at like any of the Chinese like city challenges. Even though, also I do want to say those city challenges are best of 1, so like you can almost discard them.
Yeah.
Hey, just side note also, they like putting this wacky tech about where they bounce units back, and there's a lot of weird.
Yeah, I think that funny enough, Rengar is like, I don't know. I think he kind of gets hard countered by Vex. I think Purple Vex is like one of the best cards in the set. That card's gonna be crazy. But like, I don't know. Like you bounce a 2 cost with Ambush, Inferna, for whatever reason or in any way it comes back to hand. I don't know. I feel like bouncing against Rengar isn't gonna be as good as like maybe some other decks because it's kind of built around Ambush and stuff. So I don't know. I think it'll be pretty good. Kind of middle of the pack. It's a little bit hard to say. I do think that. Sequencing Rengar is going to be a nightmare to play against because it's not like hidden cards, it's their hand because it's just going to be all like combat tricks from the hand. What do you think, Hydra?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen many Rengars, like you said, even on city challenges or even the couple of tournaments that we had here. But I mean, the stacking power seems pretty good, and I think overall he's just gonna struggle. I think he'll be playable. I think he's for sure playable, but I think he'll struggle against green decks and he'll struggle against purple decks. Obviously, one from Vex and the other one has stuns. I think when it comes to the rest, like any yellow deck, I mean, some he will be good into. Probably, I would think he would be good into LeBlanc, but I'm not sure. I haven't played the matchup or anything like that. But some of the yellow decks will also have stuns, so I think he might be like a little problematic when it comes to like how many times you can ambush, I guess, during the turn or during play, how many spells you can burn. And I don't know if anyone knows, but did they run any like sabotage or anything like that in their main decks or no?
No, most of them did not.
Okay.
Now, the city challenger stuff, like I rarely saw sabotage, but they also refused to run Lucian, which is, in my opinion, insane. He just a busted ass unit. So
interesting, but yeah, I mean, orange is super strong color, and again with ambush and probably playing Repulse as well in the same deck, it's definitely going to be. I can see it working out pretty well. So I think it's playable for now. Once we get like a few matches or some people playing it, I would think it'll probably like climb a little bit more. But I don't think it'll beat the top decks of the set. I think that's where I'll play it.
What do you think, Stardust?
Yeah, I actually don't. I'm very intrigued to see how it does, cause on paper it seems really good. It's a force to be reckoned with. It's like they have access to cards that will pretty much always knock over a battlefield. Like you can't hold against that, right? But then I think because it's so prevalent, right, that it's like a force to be reckoned with. Vexmit gets just absolutely dogs this deck because that's literally the counter for this deck. So it's like, so if that gets really good, then Vex gets really good, and then it's just like a never-ending loop. I think that once Rengar finds a way around the Vex, I think that this deck will be good. But because like it has everything, right? It has Bryn, it has access to Bryn, it has access to Ferris, it has dodges to rebukes. Like there's just like it knocks over any battlefield, right? Because you have all the might gaining stuff. And then you can conquer back and forth with Rangars. Like it has a right to win, right? This deck seems pretty legit, actually. I feel like there's definitely a lot of potential. Like, in one of the tournaments, they got fourth, right? And with I think I can foresee some problems with control coming back, but you play Ferris in this. So I don't know. I think in America, I think America's gonna make this work.
How do
That's
you
my
feel?
prediction.
How does everyone feel about the Fae Folk? I actually think that's probably a very powerful unit. A lot of
Oh,
players.
Irresistible Faithful.
Yeah,
So
I
I've
think it's
seen that
massive.
card. It's a charm. I don't know how I feel about it in this deck. I don't know how, because what you're doing, like this deck is all assault, right? Like you're
Yeah.
assaulting, you're buffing your guys,
Yeah.
and then when you Faithfolk, you're charming in, you become defender. So I do see that they're playing it. I'm not 100% sure how it's
Well,
panning out for them.
at least one of the combos for the Star Spring, if you ambush, so you move in, you charm another unit, you ambush beforehand. After the charm, your attacker, you can send back your faithful back to the base. Yeah. But you also push back actually Kha'Zix will do the same thing. But you move back the faithful. The faithful survives, and you have an ambush ready to kill whatever slot damage or whatever unit in front of you. So
Eh,
there's a lot of but the key point of that is like that's one of the only few ways to actually have to interact with other decks because what you have challenge.
yeah, I guess.
I
And
mean
one
you're
last thing.
yeah yeah
Yeah, one last thing on this, I think, is that when decks go hard and fast like this, like you're knocking over battlefields, you're expending a lot of resources. If you don't have any draw power, you just kind of like get gassed out. So like I'm seeing some of the lists, right? They're running some Kaisas, they're running the Nidalees, and those are draw cards, but like against control decks, like you're not gonna get those on the battlefield. You're kind of gonna so this deck kind of looks like like in this meta it might struggle. So I think if you are gonna play this deck, I think you definitely play three Ferris, right? You got to make sure these things are hitting the board. You're countering your counter. So if y'all watching this are trying to play Rengar, I think you got to have a equal balance of knocking things over, but also sustainability. So definitely tweak your deck if you are playing this.
you know what's up what's that one origin card that stops damage that's like super busted in orange
Unyielding Spirit.
Unyielding Spirit.
unyielding spirit just goes back yeah that ever
Unyielding
happened.
Spirit's going to be really good. Yeah, I think that I'm kind of interested conceptually in regards to the fact that like Rengar is really good with ambush cards, and this, I don't know, in a way it kind of makes me think of like Jax, right? Like how much new gear did they print in this set? A bit, right? Not a lot, but like a bit, right? Like, is ambush going to be like a keyword that's evergreen? I don't know, because like outside of ambush, giving things +1 on the turn that you play them isn't super helpful. It can be, but
It
We'll
gives
see,
anything
right?
+1, so maybe you could probably dodge like a singularity by just playing an ambush card. You know what I mean? You can like buff your Ferris by playing a random one cost. I mean, there's definitely potential to this deck, right? So I don't know. There's potential. I actually really like this. I think I think this is gonna be a force to be reckoned with. I'm gonna give this the highest tier we have.
You're giving this S tier?
What?
It
Okay.
sounds crazy, but I don't see a loop. I don't see a world where this can't be good. I don't know.
All
I don't know.
right.
I might be
I
I
think
might be crazy for it. I might be crazy for that.
And you are
I
the
think
aggressive Draven player, so.
I think A tier. We can put it at A tier. I think we all think it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And Stardust thinks it's S. So let's put it A tier.
Okay.
All right. Next up, we got Pyke. Now this is a deck that I don't want to be good because I think that God, this just reminds me of when they spoiled Arcane Shift and the worst person you know immediately went into the group chat and was like, I'm gonna play Ezreal and blink Mind Splitters over and over and over again. Like I hate this deck. And I've played against it a little bit on the sim, and you know, I don't think that the best version of this deck is like a discard deck. But oh my god, is that going to be the version that everybody's running?
Yeah.
And then you're going to sit down against a Pyke at locals and be like, cool. This is going to be so much fun. I think that this deck probably has an extremely high skill ceiling. I think that right now, everybody is just, you know, they're losing games, and every Pyke that I've beaten has lost because they're so tempted by the bounce and play to make me discard that they're not gaining any points for holding at all. Right, and so I don't know. I think that I think of Pyke in the way that I kind of think how Ezreal shook up, where you have one person, Alan ZQ, who's like really good in the deck and really understands it, and then like basically nobody else plays it at like the highest level. So I don't know. That's how I see Pyke. I would say like middle of the pack, maybe a little bit small or a little bit lower than middle of the pack, just because I think people are going to be too shoehorned into trying to do like the funny build that like the good build is going to get overlooked. What do you think, Hydra?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a playable deck. And yeah, it's been super annoying playing against all pack players that do the same thing. Drop Spirit, move it up, recall it, drop it again, and okay. We're just going to do that all day, especially with the battlefield for it. There's definitely some cool mechanics to it. Like the signature spell, I think is really good. Bone Skewer, I think is the name of it. I think that signature spell is actually really good.
Spell is the Death from Below.
Death from Below? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is that okay? Well, he has to.
Yeah, Death from Below is kill a unit at a battlefield for 4 energy, 1 power. If that unit had 3 or less might, you can repeat this.
Okay, yeah, that one's not that good.
Rare.
Okay, well, I think Bone Skewer should have been his signature spell then. I think that one's way better. It's been really annoying since it stuns the unit and it just dies, especially if they're holding the battlefield. I think it's like you said, it's gonna be highly mechanical deck that someone's gonna come out with some build that's just really good and they're gonna try to replicate it and just fail. But I have seen multiple decks, especially I think the one going around now is they play some Baron Nashers in it. I don't know if you've played against it, but I've seen
every purple deck plays.
Yeah, exactly.
All the Pikes that I've played against have had Baron.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, sounds about right. So I think that's the new round going on for purple, and just throw Baron in there. Hope you get there. Yeah. So, but I think it's definitely playable.
In the sideboard.
Yeah,
the meatiness.
I think there's gonna be a lot of different ways to play the deck, and it'll be fun to watch. I'm gonna be, angry trying to play against this thing, most likely. But I think it's playable. I'll put it there. B tier.
What do you think, Stardust?
Yeah, I think what Riot was trying to do with this is a little confusing, right? Because then you have here's a couple of packages, right? So you have the signature spell, Death from Below, and you have the other, the Bone Skewer, right? And both of these cards are pretty like, oh, we're gonna do like kind of like a removal kind of thing, especially Death from Below. Death from Below has some really cool potential, right? Because like if you kill something with 3 might or less, you can play it again, and then you kill another thing with 3 might or less, and you kill it again. So you can kill theoretically up to the amount of mana you have, right? Because they only cost 1 power to do it.
Yeah.
So you kill. I've seen it kill like 6 things, and at the very last kill, it'll kill something 12 might, right? Because like you want to save. So basically, you kill a 1 might, then a 2 might, then a 3 might, then a 1 might, then a 2 might, and then you leave the very big one at the very end. So you basically get like 10 kills off of it. You recycle a bunch, but like it feels like a control deck, right? Because you got a bunch of this kill stuff, and then you got the bone skewer to snipe something out the hand.
Yeah.
But then all the champions are hidden cards where like hidden is the strategy of holding, right? We're trying to hide things, we're trying to hold things, but then it kind of defeats the purpose of death from below. So I mean, and also the hidden card package is like kind of like it's good. It's like, oh, give me +2 for this Pyke, and this one says give me a gold. Like none of this screams like, oh, the win condition here is to do this or is to do that. It just kind of feels like they're dabbling in a lot of different things, and especially like the legends, like return a unit to the battle from the battlefield to the hand, and then you get a gold. Okay, yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like. I don't know. It
Yeah.
doesn't fully make too much sense right now.
And kind of that kind of goes into what I'm talking about like skill ceiling, because I think that a lot of people just want to bounce everything, but I think there's a balance. So I think the question to your point is like, did they give you, because the reason that there's so much hidden stuff is because you're generating so much gold, right? You should be able to pay for it conceptually, but the question is like, did they make it so that those things are going to balance out, or are they incongruous to the point that like you can't do both of them in one deck? That's going to be like my ultimate question, and the builds are going to show that, right? Because like maybe blinking stuff is just too good to ever hide cards, and if that's the case, your legends, I don't know, they're just kind of throwaway. We'll see.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Too much movement. I'm playing Yi. Too much thinking. But I will say I do think this deck, if it ever becomes good, it becomes a mill strategy, which is very anti-fun, very boring, and I actually hope it does not become popular. But outside of that, yeah, I don't like it. And it's really, I will agree. I think people are trying to play different strategies, like the hidden mechanic, and then you also try to play this mill deck. They have like different issues, and you constantly bounce your units back and forth, like slows down your tempo. Is that worth you discarding 1 or 2 random cards that people don't care about? Is that too slow in this meta with LeBlanc being so popular? Or, yeah, I don't know. It seems wacky, but, people like their wacky stuff,
All right, so B tier.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, and next up we got Vi. So I'm just gonna say it. I love Vi. I love this deck. I'm super excited to play Vi. This deck is terrible. This deck is not good. I think that if you look at red and yellow as domains, Rek'Sai gets to, look for cards, Darius gets to ramp. Vi doesn't really get to do any of that. And the comparison that I kind of keep making in my head is she's a worse Draven, right? Because like if I attack and somebody bounces their character, I'm not assigning excess damage. I don't get to use my legend, right? So she's worse in that regard. And on top of that, red and yellow doesn't have any protection. I love this deck though. It's so much fun. Vi's signature, the Hextech Gauntlets, if you deal more than 3 damage, you get to draw a card. You slap that on a Kaisa, you're drawing so many cards. Like most of the units in the deck have ganking and deflect, but the problem is you don't have any good protection, right? And this is the deck that I've played the most in Unleashed. I've been jamming it on the sim. Like when you lose hard. But when you win, I don't know, it feels like you're beating up a child, which I don't want to say is fun, but it's great because your might is like crazy high, you're ganking left and right, you're winning combat, you're drawing a million cards. It's so much fun. but it is such a fragile deck. This is like a glass cannon. If they remove your gear, if they remove your Kaisa, like yellow, the deck just folds to yellow like immediately. Even some of the bouncing and the energy costs are really high. That most of the good buy lists are running seals, which I don't like seals in non-control decks, and you're just deramping yourself. I don't know. I'm not gonna put Vi in like dead last, but she's C tier. She's not D tier, but she's like bottom of C tier. Stardust, what do you think?
I think I genuinely I don't think it's very good. I think that I don't know. It just doesn't like like the red yellow combo kind of. I think they whiffed there. I think yellow is not the color for Vi. I think it had to be something more like something buff, right? Because like
Well, it makes sense
yellow.
thematically. I could see her being red orange.
Well, maybe thin. I don't know. Maybe. But that's what I'm trying to say is that Vi with yellow is kind of like defeating its might kit, where it's like, oh, I want to make something really strong and punch over something. But like yellow is more like, oh, I'm gonna try to like, you know,
Go wide.
just remove all your. No, I'm just gonna remove all your stuff, like kill spells. So like, if you're killing your opponent's stuff with kill spells,
You're not
you're
doing
not doing
damage.
you're not doing excessive damage. So I think the kit is the yellow combination is weird, and the excess damage is like, yeah, the legend is just I think not comparable to like some of the other ones. Like you ready something like the only time you ever get something good is like the Hextech Gauntlets and you draw one. Like that's pretty good, right? And if they swapped it to like the Enforcer where like you deal extra 3 and then you draw, like that can be like that could be pretty decent. But like when you ready something, like are you moving it back? Are you ganking it over? Like it just doesn't seem like the value is there and it doesn't seem like I don't know. It just you have to do combat too, right? Like you can't use it without combat. So I don't know. I think it's too niche. It's not good enough. I'm gonna have to give it like a D tier.
You really have to
Dang.
bait your opponent into like leaving something on a battlefield. Yeah, and if you ready, it only really works if you're ganking, because otherwise it's kind of the Pyke thing where you move in and then you move out, and then now you're not getting hold points, and you almost want to move out so that you can keep doing combat. It's oh my god. Sorry, I've played this deck a lot. I'm very, very intimately familiar with its shortfalls. Still love it. What do you think, Hydra?
I'm glad you like to torture yourself when choosing decks for every set.
Jack's last set, I just love. I put the C and C tier, baby.
It's great. But I was good. Do you think it would be better if you switched off the legend effect with the gauntlets effect? Like if you dealt the X's.
Yes,
I think that's what
that was what I was
That's what you're
thinking.
saying?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be because card draw. Like there's like no card draw outside of the gauntlets in this deck. Like I'm literally running the 2 mana, give one of your things temporary and draw 2. Like because that like there's like so few. I mean, to be fair, you do that on like a unsung hero that has something attached to it. Like you draw, but like yeah, like it's just assigning 3 or more is a tough thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't need to do that, right? You only need to assign 1 more, right? Like to win a combat. And readying is really not worth it unless you're ganking. But if you're ganking, the best way to get additional might is to do something like assault, right? Like the Rengar. 4 might Rengar, assault 2, it's really good. You equip that with something, you move in, you get to ready it, you gank over. Well, now he's stranded there, and he's not attacking when he gets run into next turn, and he's just a 4 might unit that you had to deramp for. So, like, they probably should have switched them, and then I think she would have been more playable. I don't think she would have been good. Still.
Okay.
But I do think she would have been better. And it's just, I don't know. It's the same thing with Jax. You're working so hard to do something that, like, a lot of other decks can do basically for free.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah, I mean, outside of pre-riff, I haven't really touched this legend at all, because just the ability itself did not did not attract me, and it was not good anyways to begin with. But I think she's kind of like that Poppy same area where I don't know. It's really hard to make your legend useful unless you like completely go all in into that one strategy that you're gonna be chasing. So
and then it's a mid-tier strategy.
yeah,
Bad strategy.
yeah, you're just gonna get a quick stun real quick by almost any deck probably.
Oh god. Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is not as bad as Poppy, but I think I do place her like C tier. Like this if we go by the list, is like a table of 100 type of deck, C tier.
What do you think, Zedril?
Red yellow, man. I'll tell you, man. Like her signature spell is probably okay, but it's just a worse. But I mean, at the same time, it's also just a worse Draven spinning axe. So.
Oh, it's
I don't know.
infinitely worse Draven spinning axe. Infinitely.
Yeah, but she doesn't have card draw. Her might, like, how does she move from different battlefields? Like the excess damage stuff doesn't work in empty showdown, so she can't even ready her battlefield. Like her unit's garbage, and I don't know. And stuns are becoming super prevalent. So like you do all this work, they stun it, you cry, and you move on. You know, it's like
Yep.
So, I don't know.
Move on to the 0-1 table.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, it's like you. I mean, you want to lose?
I see that in my future. I see that. In my future. All right. C, bottom of C. Honestly, she might be D tier, but C for Cole. Let's just leave her.
All right.
Does it beat Aurora? I mean, does it beat Popular Aura? I don't think so. So I don't know where you're ranking if you're high.
I think it does. I've beaten Aurora decks because I'm in yellow. I can play salvage.
Fair.
All right, moving on to Lillia. Hydra, what do you think about Lillia?
I think Lillia's. I think it's an A tier for sure. This sprite mechanic.
It won a challenge.
Yeah. This is A tier. I think it's been a meme where if there's Bex, if there's a lot of Bex, Lillia does bad. If there's no Bex, Lillia does good. Obviously because of the stun. But yeah, this is like a pretty unique legend that's actually good in my opinion. Just playing around the sprite combination. Pretty good. I've definitely lost to it multiple times. Just again, I don't know. You get so much. You get enabled so much by all the sprites you can create with that new artifact, and just overall with Lillia. Then you follow it up with Legion units, just staples like a Watcher. This has been this is a pretty good deck. I think it's not as complicated as the other top decks, which is good and which is fun about it. I think a lot of people are gonna pick this up and be able to play it well. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a very good deck. I think the top players of this deck are definitely gonna make a decent run for sure.
What do you think, Stardust?
I would have to agree with that sentiment. I think that there's a lot of value to the deck. I think that having any card that says your opponent can't play cards is really good. So then, yeah, and it's very cheap. So like, I mean, there's always that win condition, right? You hold 2 up, make sure you have that, and you just push for game. There's always that aspect, and then you have like things that just generate infinite amount of sprites.
Yeah.
So one concern I do have about the deck is that like the blue Lillia says when I move from a location, play a 3 sprite there with temporary. So like it kind of feels like a Azir where you're spamming the board, but you can't move the units like a Azir can. So I mean,
well, you have Emperor's Divide. You
but
can move stuff back from battlefields to your base. Like you can, I mean, there's some stuff that you can.
Yeah, you can play around it.
I mean, yeah, I think they would have to play like something like that. I think that's the only like thing I can see that might hinder the deck. I think overall the deck is pretty good. I think that the legend has like can snowball, and now you're playing like maybe blue LeBlanc to keep your guys alive, and then all your tokens have tank. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a blue LeBlanc kind of holding kind of strat, maybe, and then yeah. So I think there's definitely potential here. I think you can build it several ways. Yeah. I think I would give this a solid A tier as well.
Anyways, but our girl, what do I feel about her? I feel like she actually has a lot of play styles that are fine and really oppressive for a lot of play styles that are it's very difficult for them to actually play around. Um, I will say I don't actually think the deck is that good into a lot of the might strategies if you can make a solid enough board. Because just sending in sprite tokens, and especially if they have a Vex, I don't. It's I think it's going to be hard for her to make the might to make enough might to break stuff. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I've seen some success on it, so obviously, if you pilot it well, maybe you just win, and and I cry.
Yeah, I mean, the legend or the city winning um, city challenge winning deck was like 24 spells, all of them like combat tricks, and then Heart of Dark Ice to give +3 might.
Yeah.
Mask of Foresight to give +1. I think that if you get some of this stuff down, once the legend ability starts to be free, might is probably not going to be an issue if you have some of these like supporting things. I will say like this deck wasn't running the LeBlanc, so the only thing that I'm like a little concerned about is I feel like if you miss sequence once with this deck, and then all of a sudden the legend ability costs 3 instead of costing 1, you're like, ooh, right? Like this is a tempo deck through and through, in my opinion. And then if you falter at the end, you have Thousand-Tailed Watcher to help.
Yeah.
But I think that sequencing is going to be really important. And if you mess that up, you're going to feel really behind. That would be my only point. But I think this is an A tier deck, guaranteed. Next up, we got Master Yi. XP Yi. I feel like this deck has a pretty low ceiling with how good it can be. That being said, I think a lot of the cards are incredible. Skyward Strike is an absolutely bonkers card. I think that this deck is just going to try to ramp into the 12 cost, 12 might E and try to just run the game once it gets into him. But I feel like this deck is pretty one note, and aside from that, I will say if you can stop the snowball, it's really hard to stop snowball in sealed, but if you can stop the snowball in constructed through, killing the units, making sure that they're not getting their hunt off, bouncing their stuff, whatever, I think this deck is going to suffer immensely. I think that if it can hit level 11, it's getting their meditates, 1 mana, draw 2. It can dig for that Master Yi. I think it's going to go really well. But it's going to sound kind of weird, but this deck kind of almost reminds me of Aurora insofar as if you can get ahead early, like you basically just like win the game because you're level 11, everything's coming in ready. You're playing 12 might units that for 6 energy that can't be targeted, and then like what do you do against that, right? Like, and then you have Charm. So Defy. I think this deck could be kind of B tier, low A tier, but I do think that it has a cap on how good it can be. What do you think? What do you think, Stardust?
That's very interesting. I think this Yi. Well, I don't know how others are playing it, but the way I think that it would be played is you're playing it like, so you play the 12 Might E in your champion legend zone or your champion chosen champ zone, and then in your deck you just basically play a bunch of XP gaining small units, and you just swarm the battlefield. You hit 6, basically turn 2 or 3, and you have a big battlefield, and you keep drawing cards, and you basically just like get a bunch of resources, get a bunch of things on board, and then when you finally hit like level 16, then you just play it from battlefield or your chosen champ zone, your Yi, and you win the game that way. However, so this deck is a very, I think the strongest mid game deck there is, but like I don't know if like the theory of decks is that mid game decks loses to late game decks, late game decks loses to early game decks, and the early game deck loses to mid game decks. So this is like a super solid mid game deck. But I think the meta is shifting to a later game deck because we're having all the LeBlancs and stuff. And LeBlanc Auroras will absolutely eat this deck alive, right? Because you have one win condition, and that's it. So I think that it's solid. I think that the game plan's really simple to execute, and there's it's very very consistent. Like I've tried it out myself several times. Very very consistent. Very very simple gameplay. And it's solid. Very very solid mid game. But right now, I think the meta is shifting too far towards the control side of things that this deck is just going to get dogged on by pretty much all the control decks. All the Auroras, all the Barons just will absolutely eat this deck alive. I have seen a couple interesting Aurora versions of this, and I don't know how consistent it
Does
is.
make Aurora Yi better?
It does. But
Maybe.
I don't know.
does it?
I don't know if it's.
Doesn't
I
that
just personally
character
don't know if it's better
step
than
on
the
a line
other
if you draw?
Aurora decks, just because it's not as consistent as purple. So I don't know. I think the best version of the deck would probably be mid range. You can force Aurora in it, but I think it's built to be a mid range deck where you're swarming, you're trying to get 6 as soon, and everything gets +1. So you're trying to just basically amass a board, and you just get a bunch of value off your draws, like your 5 cost draw 2 cards. So I mean, yeah, that is the theory of of that right now. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I would give this deck probably a B tier.
What do you think?
What do you think, John? I think. What do I think? I think he is simple enough that I think there's probably a lot of abilities or a lot of things that were not like. I do think the XP mechanic can ramp up fast enough, especially the meta slowing down to like an Aurora, because what can Aurora do realistically? Like you move up, you put the Yi down. If you put the Yi down fast or some enough XP units, you can go to 3, 6. With you hold once, you conquer once. That's 6, depending if you put the dog. You put with Yi, go to. So I do think it's possible to ramp up fast enough, but I think I don't know. I think it's interesting. But I just don't think it's fast enough. I think that the meta's so fast, and I think the LeBlanc, like Stardust mentioned, I think will be a problem, frankly.
What do you think? What do you think, Hydra?
Yeah, much in agreement. I think that definitely has a timer to it, and it's probably going to be one of those decks where if you go first, you probably have that extra advantage to win. Probably, a lot higher than other decks. If you go second and you're on the back end, probably won't be as good, and you probably get stuck. Not getting to where you need to be, especially if you're playing the big Master Yi. I do think there's a lot of good cards that they put out for XP when it comes to the deck. So I think there is a way. I don't think the Aurora is better. Like if I was to play Aurora Yi, I would do it with Origins Yi, Master Yi, instead of this one.
Yes,
100%.
complete agreement.
100% of the time, yeah, is much better. But I guess you just do the roulette anyways and hope you hit. I would put it like a high B tier. Because I think it's gonna do, it's gonna be one of those things, kind of like the Kaisa, where like it's really good against a lot of the other decks, but then it just falters against the good decks.
It's the new filter.
Yeah, I think so. I think it might be the new filter. I think so, but I think it's like a B. It's a B. It's a solid B.
Yeah, I think from what I've seen in pre-rift, that I think that the constructed version of XPE is going to be built in such a way that hitting level 6 is like inevitable and very quick. Right? Like, I think that you can design the deck around that with like decent play. So yeah, I think high B. We'll go with high B. And then next we got Vex. Zedro, what do you think about Vex? What's going on with Vex?
It's cute. Cute art design, but terrible. I actually don't like the stall mechanic very well. I think it's like holding strategy is very dangerous. But I do think it's probably the best color combination to try to bounce, stun, hold. a battlefield. It kills decks like Lillia pretty hard. I think it killed. Well, probably doesn't kill decks like Rengar because I think they have fast enough units and they play enough white. If they can make it a wide enough board, they can try to break it. But I don't know. I don't like the playstyle. I'll be honest with you. I mean, that's pretty much my biggest
But how
issue
good
with it.
do you think it will be?
I think it's good. I don't know. It's hard to describe it because I don't like if you can hold the battlefield for like turn 2 or like the early one or two, 3 turns, that's okay if you go first. But what ability do you have to like contest other battlefields? That's my concern with a deck like that because if your whole strategy is stay in one battlefield, okay, cool. What if you're second? You have charms, you have other abilities, you have some ambush mechanics, but like with the Viamon stuff like that, that still costs 9 mana. That's still difficult to make sure like you but the legend does mitigate some of the card draw issues with that green has, and you can I don't know. I think it's overhyped a little bit, but I mean it's a solid deck. I don't like decks that give away tempo. That's my whole problem with it. Like you're essentially giving the tempo of the game to just hold it like to hold one side, and you're like asking for trouble if they blow you out. That battlefield, it's over. So whatever, but yeah.
What do you think, Hydra?
I think. I honestly think this is best deck in format. Because okay, some people are gonna say LeBlanc, but I think this is better just because it's not as complicated as LeBlanc is to play and to like to pilot. If you so that's the reason I'm putting it best deck in format. I don't think it struggles that much against a lot of things. Like if you can get set up, it's really hard to get you off that battlefield. And you get to play, you get to play charms, you get to do other things that you can still contest them. I don't think that's an issue. At least I haven't seen that being an issue on this deck. Maybe I haven't seen enough games, so that might be part of it. But I think once you get set up, it's really hard to get you out of it unless you have, kill spells or.
Unchecked power went to $70 for a reason, bro.
I mean, it did. You were right. So
and Baron too, right?
There's a lot of things going on. But obviously, you have access to like Hard Bargain and Abandon and whatever the case it is, right? So there's plenty of counterplay, and I guess, I wouldn't say I guess, but if you get to hold and get those card draws going, I think I don't know. I think you win the game majority of the time from that point on. So I think for me, I think this is the S tier deck alongside, I think it's just the S tier deck for right now.
Stardust, what do you think?
I think that's I agree with majority what Zedril not Zedril with Hydra said is that
They said two very different things.
so I agree with what Hydra said. I think what happens is that especially looking at the meta now, right? Like I said, Rengar looks super dangerous, right? And what stops Rengar, right? Like Vex is the sole counter of just absolutely destroying Rengar. And then now we have this hold strat, right? Where it's like Yi is performing very well, but then what beats like a hold strat? You're a different hold strat, right? So then now you have something.
He's got Trinity Force equipped, brother.
No, incorrect. But no, that's just because the thing is, look, Yi, right? Yi is one on each battlefield, and if you get over it, then he sends the next one. But this is like we hold the battlefield and we never let go, and then we go on to the other one. We hold and never let go, and there's kind of like once they establish control of that battlefield, it just never gets regained unless you're playing control deck.
But I have a question. But cards like Brim here, like, and the units not being high enough might, because I agree it's difficult because of stun abilities and stuff like that. But if Brim here is still in the format, my units are not that high, except like a 9 mana cost unit, which you're spending all your mana on that. Like, that's, I think. I get the whole strategy, but again, like I still think Brim here is like
no. Brim here doesn't stop this.
But if you set up Brim here, like what do they do afterwards?
Shadow is not a play card.
Yeah, but that's just one stun, and it's 3.
It only needs one stun. I mean, listen, you have
on the battlefield though.
Well, it's not even. You don't even need 3, right? Like Bryn here is a 5 cost, right? So then you play that card. You need to amass, first of all, like a bunch of units to get over it, right? You need at least 3 plus another thing, and that's just a tap 1, right? So like I'm telling you right now, like this is the only deck that can actually counter Bryn here. Like Bryn here stops every other deck except this, right? Like this is the only thing that says, well, so what? I play action and still stun something. Um, and like you have big units, like you have shield tank, right? Like literally Vex, the green Vex says when you stun something you may move me to that battlefield, so you just need one shadow on one and then the green on the other. It's like, okay, do whatever you want. There will always be at least 8 might on a battlefield, which is, I think, I don't know, there's just no letting go of a battlefield. This deck is legitimately, I think, the anti, like, I don't know. I think it's the anti-meta deck. But here's the thing. The only deck this deck loses to is like control decks, right? So like Aurora is like one of the few that like stomps over this deck just because it doesn't care. And then also LeBlanc with all the every kill stuff, so you're never attacking. And now we're gonna see like maybe a resurgence in Kai'Sa's, right? Because also Kai'Sa is a very good control deck. Um, but here's the thing, on top of all like the not letting go of a battlefield deck, dude, it says when you hold, draw a card. Anything we know for sure, like drawing cards is always good, and this is really good at holding, right? So if basically you have a like grove of the god, you no, this is a grove of a god willow on a on a champion, right? So then like if you actually play Grove of God Willow, and then now you play like other stuff to back of this is like once you start holding, like you just never let go, and you're gonna always be like maybe 1 point up, and you just win the game like that. There are some decks that just will never be able to deal with this,
Yeah.
and I think that this will be the anti-meta deck, and then if this is the meta because all of the Yees and all of the Rangars, then LeBlanc becomes the best. I think it's just a weird rock paper scissors, but I
Yeah.
genuinely think this. I think Hydra is on point. I think this might be the Irelia of decks. Like this might not win all of them, but this is the deck to look at when you build your decks.
I'm inclined to agree.
But for me, the only reason I'm so hesitant is because it's like the Vex will not be dropped immediately because you want to have enough mana to defender. So that play pattern of having a 2 cost, that's what that a 2 cost push up, have another 4 cost defending. I think if you don't drop Sona immediately, which is again not that consistent, I think it's gonna be a lot harder to do. But that's just my logic. That's my
Wait,
reason
wait,
why.
wait. What is your? How
You
do you
can't
deal with
drop
that?
because you can't drop Vex immediately because you want to have enough mana to protect her, right? You can do a stun spell, you can do whatever.
No, she has deflect. I'm okay with playing her. Like if you want to falling star her or
No,
something, go ahead.
she's for energy.
Yeah,
Right?
she's
And
for
like
energy. So at
Yeah.
second, you
I
can't
think the
drop her.
point
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I think the point that Zedro's getting at and the point that I kind of agree with is I think what's gonna hinge or I think the success of this deck is gonna hinge on two things. Either how quickly can they set up or how much can they contest the other battlefield once they're set up, right? Because if you have a primarily hold strategy, you're gaining 1 point to turn. The question is, are you gaining that 1 point to turn after your opponent because you're always 1 point up, or before your opponent so that you're always 1 point down, right? Because
I don't.
once you set up and you hold, yeah, you're gaining 1 point every turn, but if they started first, then you're in trouble. So how quickly can you set up and how much can you contest?
I genuinely don't think that's a problem. Like I think when you're playing purple decks, you have Ride the Winds, and then you're playing purple green. Like you have counter spells, you have Ride the Winds, and then you have buff spells. Like I genuinely think this is the exact kit a deck like this needs. Like purple green, so you have things to hold and defies, and then you have things to move. I don't think they could have crafted a better like combo than this. Like looking at this now, like I didn't do research before this, and I'm looking at this now and I'm like, dude, this is fucking disgusting. This is like this is the everything that could be asked for in a deck. And I think this is
But
the deck to beat.
but can you agree that isn't it risky to drop a Vex at 4 drop instantly, especially because you start
Why?
because the reason because it stops accelerate units, it stops ambush, it stops a lot of play patterns. Like so, it's a priority. I have to murder this unit, or it's going to slow me down too much. That's my logic. Your logic is like
What's the problem with that?
yeah, but I'm saying like if you drop her at 4, if you don't have a GA immediately, which then you're behind in tempo, how do you drop one at 4 and not risk it dying?
Wait,
Right?
time out, time out, time out. What? First of all, okay, so if you're dropping it on 4, right? Like, what?
The
Okay,
only way
first of
your
all,
opponent can kill it is if they somehow buff their 2 energy unit above 4.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
There's
Yes,
cleave, but there's cleaves. There's spinning axes. Like I'm saying, you
yeah.
drop this unit, you're asking for trouble. A lot.
I
If you
mean,
drop it immediately,
honestly,
yeah.
well,
If
here's
they
the
lose
thing.
their load, maybe that's a good thing.
Well,
Because then
so
they have to
here's how
organize
I
their
see it.
battlefield.
Here's how I see it, right? It's a 4 mana, like it's a always like we know the problem with 4 mana,
Yeah.
4 cost or
There's
4 cost.
4 mana, no
Turn,
energy units
yeah,
every
exactly. That
single
that that
time.
is like I said, Draven last set, the red Draven. That was the problem. Wasn't that it was a 6 mana, right? The problem was that it was a consistent 4 drop.
Yeah.
We have that same problem here. We are it's completely okay if they have an answer to it. It's the idea that when they don't have an answer to it, you get
I
blown out.
agree. I agree. I
So,
agree.
but also here's the thing: if you are playing a deck that always has the answers, like Aurelia, maybe you don't slam it. Maybe you put it in the back line and you just wait until you have something to defend it. Like you don't need to slam it. Like if you're putting it in the back line, what are they gonna do? Falling star toys? Sure. If they do that, you immediately win the game,
Yeah,
right? Like they
it hurts. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It hurts. I
yeah,
hurt.
so
I
like
agree.
either way, I just think that I don't know. And also don't forget, this deck has access to hidden stuns. So if you
Yeah.
feel like so like if you even if you slam it down, you're like, okay, well, I have a hidden stun and then I get to draw a card for free every turn. So it's
But
just like
I
yeah,
think
and then you're
the rise for yellow, like Leblanc, makes it like that's the reason why. Like if I think Leblanc is a dominant deck, I
yes.
think Leblanc will just murder this unit
Yeah.
instantly. So it's forced to play
I,
slower. So that's the
yeah.
logic behind it. Yeah, but I get it. I
Yeah.
get it.
But
I
if
think
I mean like yeah, it's like kind of rock paper. If LeBlanc is good, if LeBlanc is only good in Vex, it's kind of like Victor's only good in Aurelia. Like Victor, I don't know. You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
once
yeah,
it
I get what you're
it
saying.
will eventually get filtered out where like some Vexes will not see any LeBlancs and then make it to the top. But don't get me wrong, I think LeBlanc is not like Victor because LeBlanc is just better than Victor. It will beat decks that Victor will not beat.
Yeah.
So I think the top I don't know. I just think that Vex is that deck right now.
I'm willing to put Vex at S tier. I'll just say I think she is going to be very meta dependent. Um, I think that's like the number one thing that I'm thinking about. Moving on, we've got Ivern, Hydra. Why don't you take this one?
This is a D tier deck for sure. But I'm starting to warm up to it a little more. So it might be like a low C tier. It might be like a low C tier now. Obviously, the strategy with him is really just holding. There's nothing else to say. You put your brush on, and then get another unit. They get a buff. That's how you play the game. That's kind of how you want to win the game. I did warm up on Daisy. I was running no Daisies. Now I believe in Daisy, mainly because by the time you get set up, if you can get set up to begin with, she'll come in at a 5 cost and ready, and then you can take the other battlefield for the most part. So it makes for a strategy, but there is a lot of things that counter it. But uncheck power, you were talking about it earlier. If you're set up, someone doesn't check power, you don't have enough mana for either a counter spell, or you don't run Emperor's Divide, you're basically screwed. If you can't get set up, or if you go second and are never able to actually set up, you're basically screwed again. It's really hard to try to play this deck and balance around your whole strategy, and maybe you're playing the other Ivern where you have to have all the 4 keywords together to gain a point and kind of just maybe scam a win from the top decks that way. It's definitely an interesting deck. I haven't given up hope, and we'll see. But I think it's C. I think it's hard if you don't get set up. It's the opposite of Vex, I think. where if you actually don't get set up, you probably lose the game most of the time. If you kill your early game units, you probably lose the game because you gain 0 tempo and now they conquer both battlefields and you can't get set up, most likely. It's a rough deck. There, yeah, I think you play to hold, and there's been some decks around where you like play all the high cost units like Bioma. There's like a 6 cost cat. I don't remember the name of it, but you can't target your other units there with spells. So it's an interesting deck. Yeah, I don't remember the name of it. And me and Cedra were cooking something else with Beta Hook, but we'll see how that turns out after testing's done. But yeah, I think it's just a C tier deck. Maybe even D tier, really. So that's where I'll put it.
I mean, it looks gimmicky.
Yeah, it's literally it.
But like, I don't have really high hopes for Ivern. I think there's going to be some dedicated Ivern players, and they can be happy in their bush. I don't really have much else to say about it. I do think like the board gets crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. The wider the board, the less deflect on the board matters. Is kind of the way that I look at it, right? And it's like, who cares if you have 1 million deflect on your board with all the bird tokens? If I'm playing, overwhelming might or overwhelming power. I don't know. And then you got to play wind wall because you're not in purple and you can't hard bargain it. I don't know. I don't. Yeah. I C tier, B like low B. I don't know. I think it'll be okay. I just don't know if a lot of decks are going to have what they need in order to deal with it.
Fair enough.
Once it gets started. Yeah.
Oh.
What do you think, Stardust?
I think this is essentially like everything, like this is basically like Vex, but like not
Worse.
like just it's so much worse because it's like like the battlefield or the legend says, oh, I get a bush, right, and he buffs your guys a little bit, and like in order to draw you need the green Ivern. Like if you want to hold, like there's not really like Daisy can stun, right, and it just kind of it loses to everything that Vex loses to, but it just doesn't have the same kit that Vex has. So this is essentially, I think, the same idea. I'm just gonna try to hold as best as I can, and then yeah, just worse. So I might have to give this like also like a C.
Zedril?
The Ivern, I mean, cool design. But I mean, like, if they wanted to make this deck viable, they should have actually implemented cards that enabled the deck to be viable, aka like buffing like your tokens would have been cool. Like Daisy's cool and all, but like the signature spell and the ability are mismatched. I don't know. It's a lot of
I
stuff.
think birds should have ganking. That's my hot take.
Huh.
Fly.
Kind of cool.
You could build up a little board at your place, and then like knowing when to send them over would be like kind of, I don't know,
cute,
interesting. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't. There's not much to say about this deck. I don't think.
Cool. I'll place it above Vi.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
All right.
Damn.
So we got Diana. Stardust. What do you think about Diana?
Diana seems good. I think that it's kind of like the Lucian of this set, where it's like it has its own niche, it does its thing, and if you hit all your things, then you can pretty much blow anything out, right? Like, so Diana, right? You get infinite amount of value. It's very cheap, right? So you apply a lot of pressure early, and then you have like Moonfall that like if your opponent tries to set up, then they just pretty much lose like a bunch of value. I think that like if you draw the right sequence of cards, I think you run away with every game. I think it's a very I think this might also be one of those like I don't know. It feels like a very very strong deck, right? And I think that in the right hand, it might do some work, but it does seem kind of one dimensional in terms of like battle. Like you're battling and you're charming. Um, and if you kind of get you lose to basically like snipe, right? Like falling stars, singularities, like you lose to that stuff. But I don't know. It's a very very solid deck. I would give this a solid A tier.
Zedro, what do you think?
Diana's cool. I mean, she's like more combat heavy Ezreal without the card draw. So her signature spell is really powerful. These are Midas stuff and moving stuff to one side is really, or choosing a battlefield and destroying, like reducing Midas, busted. Yeah, I think I think it will do a lot. And I think the new what's that guy's name? The Fenboy, not Fenboy, but
Hwei?
like
What the?
The painter,
Man.
man, the painter.
the painter. I think,
Hwei, yeah.
yeah. Hwei is a very powerful unit. Yeah, very good unit. Very good unit.
He's a twink.
Yeah, there we go. That one.
That's
Twink
crazy.
expert here, bro.
That's crazy.
Hydra, what do you think?
Yeah, similar. I think it's gonna be the same. Where it has like a high ceiling, so same things we were talking about with like Pyke now and then Ezreal before. There's definitely a lot of plays that you can make with this deck, and then when you add Hwei into the mix, yeah, that is a really good card that gives you a lot of options. It solves a lot of your drawing power too, especially if you get it out and it doesn't die first turn, which shouldn't be able to. I do like all Dianas obviously do the move into a showdown, I guess, or a battlefield, and then get a free stack deck, which is really good, honestly, and it keeps the deck pretty consistent. So I think there's definitely a place for it. I think it'll definitely be strong, and sealed draft just kind of made it seem bad, to be honest. I think a lot of people probably did not like playing Diana and sealed during pre-rifs, but constructed is going to be a completely different story. I think this is definitely like a high B, and if piloted correctly, it'd probably be like a high A, in my opinion.
I think this deck is bad. I'm just gonna be like so for real. I do
What?
not think this deck is
That's
good.
crazy.
Right?
That's actually crazy.
I don't think this deck is good. I think that Ezreal got good enough that there's no reason to play Diana if you can just play Ezreal. And the card draw is always going to be better than one energy that you can only... Look, okay, I'm sorry, but like Darius exists, and I would argue that getting the extra energy from Legion is similar. It's more restrictive than getting it during a showdown, but is similar to this, and Darius like isn't good. I don't think that Diana is good. I think that free energy is a bait, and free energy that you can only use in showdowns is a bait. Every Diana list that I've seen has been kind of aggro, and I think that with the meta and everything, we're moving into like more of like a control meta, and I think that like I don't know. I don't think that this deck is good. Like, I think that the free energy is a bait, and I just don't think it's going to be excessively strong. Like, honestly. So that's my hot take. We'll see what happens, but I would not put this above a B tier. I do not think Diana is going to be very good.
Alright. Yeah, I mean maybe.
High B tier. High B tier.
I think Tempo
I
is
would
super
put this
strong.
I would put this below Rengar.
Below Rengar. Okay. So
I would put
a
this
low
below
A.
Rengar.
A low A.
All right. All right. If you guys want to put it in A, that's fine. But I'm with B on Diana. I do not think this deck is good. But you know it is good. Leblanc, straight to S tier. I hate this deck. I hate everything about this deck. This deck is so obnoxious to play against. I don't know. I like Zedrill. I know you were really interested in playing LeBlanc. If you kind of want to give the rundown, I'm putting it in S tier. I think this is going to be the new million actions a minute. Like, just it is the most obnoxious thing that I've played against in a long time. But unfortunately, I do think it does take skill to pilot. But Zedrill, if you want to give us a rundown of why this immediately goes into S tier.
Man, I mean, this is probably the most complicated. It's high complexity deck. A lot of decisions. Like, you're surprisingly not playing that high might units, but you constantly get value through what's that? The
freaking deck, bro.
Yeah, it's just everything. Like, it's interesting to say the least. I think the deck has a lot of like a lot of skill ceilings, and I think in that way, I think I'm very impressed by the deck. I don't know. I think the deck has a lot of skill expression. Like you know the difference between a good LeBlanc and a bad LeBlanc. But I don't think most people are going to pilot it correctly. I think they're going to consistently pilot it wrong because it's a hard deck to manage. So I don't know, man. This deck's tough. Tough to evaluate really well. But
But if you pilot it well, infinite.
I mean, you're gonna win. You're infinite value for the rest of the game.
Infinite
You know.
value. I've never seen a deck draw so many cards except for like Detonate Draven. Like his deck is insane. Stardust. What do you think?
Yeah, I think perfect color combo, right? Like, but also like infinite value. You get infinite draws. Like, I mean, like this is that deck. I mean, you have Thousand Tail to close out games. You have infinite draws, and then you have like infinite channels. And then the best part is that it just has infinite like ways you could get around stuff, and like there's just infinite possibilities with this deck. There's so much you could do. Death Grip, you have Vi, you have Rune Rex, you have Thousand Tail. These are all cards that like you play so versatile. And then like Mirror Image, you copy any of those. Like, and then you have always solid early game, right? You have Honest Broker, Soaring Scout, Sentry, right? And then Karthus doubles everything, so then you get value off of it. And then yeah, no, and then you have LeBlanc, right? Like the draw two if it's your battlefield, and then you play Karthus, so then you draw another two, and so then it's four. You draw four, dude. That's like like the thing with Detonate Draven is like, oh, you're drawing a bunch of cards, but you're not doing anything until the very late game where you draw all your deck, right? The idea was to draw your whole deck and then basically play Vi and just do things over and over again. This deck is I draw things, but the idea like everything I draw is good. Like Sacrifice, Call of the Week, everything's good, right? And then like yeah, so then it's just like this deck has answers to early game, late game, mid game draws, and the only thing this thing is missing is like counter spells, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Once this deck gets counter spells, like it's GG. But like it has everything else. It has infinite value, it has infinite might, it has infinite damage. Like you snipe things from the back, and yeah, just I mean this is the deck. I think this is probably number one or two, and then Vex is number one, the other number one and two. So I mean, yeah, this is gonna be meta shaping deck. So definitely S deck.
No, but it also,
Shit as well.
I think another key point that people I don't think are playing early enough, I think is access to Imperial Decree / Bellows Breath combo, and I think that's so busted as hell. And I don't think
if you're in blue yellow, you can just
yeah, but the difference is with a lot of blue yellow decks, this deck has the ramp, can sustain doing that multiple times because of the constant draw and the gold generation / like the channeling. This deck is very dangerous.
It kind of has it all.
Yeah.
It kind of has it all.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
think, Hydra?
I think playing against a setup Karthus Ruin Rex is the most annoying thing that could ever happen. I mean, no opinion from anyone here. That deck is insane. Like I said, I put best deck in format Vex, unless you are a LeBlanc, just pilot that deck perfectly, then she just takes over. I mean, she's again too many. You have so many options. I think this is where again a lot of people are just gonna falter with all the options you get when you draw 4 cards, and then you have all this infinite plays you can do. And obviously, if they choose the wrong one or the wrong way to do it, that's a way to win. So it's kind of hard to beat really good LeBlanc players, and I think it's gonna be that way. I don't think she's gonna win the first event. I think it's gonna take a little time for like the good LeBlanc players to figure out exactly how to just beat everyone. But yeah, insane deck. I won't be playing this. That's for sure.
I think I definitely think best deck in format, and I think in many of the ways that Draven made it so that combat wasn't a thing anymore. I think that when you're building a deck, one of the things that your mind immediately has to go to is, do I have a way to kill a Karthus that is in the LeBlanc space?
Yeah.
that is going to be something that you need in any deck that you're running. Just that's critical. You know, Falling Star. You know, off the top of my head, I'm not positive what. You know, you have like Charm, right? But like, you need a way to kill cards.
This is a challenge, I
And
guess would be.
Yeah, challenge something, right? But like,
Yeah.
you need a way to do it. And then last but not least, we have Kha'Zix. I honestly have no idea what to make of this deck. Like genuinely, I'm extremely happy that Orange Purple has something that isn't just Aurora Slop. But I don't know what to make of this deck. Stardust, what's your initial impression?
Yeah, it's trying to make. I think Riot is trying to make like XP, right? Make XP a thing. I think he whiffed. I think they whiffed on like the the legend a little bit there. It's like the buff and move things back. Like it's kind of like a Yasuo, but you have contingency. Like, oh, you have to have 2 XP, and it just doesn't seem like there's like a clear win condition. Like you move your enemy unit, and you have to have it. Basically, is like, oh, you have to have some isolate going on. You have to like it's basically Yasuo, I think, with XP. I think that they whiffed a little bit there. I don't think that it makes a whole lot of sense. Like the concept of Kha'Zix is like, oh yeah, like you kill enough things, you evolve, right? Like this is like you kill some things here, you kill some things there. You do it for the joy. You do it for the joy of playing the game. You don't do it for the win, I think. So yeah, I think you got to be like a Yasuo player to play this kind of deck. Yeah, I would have to give this like a C tier.
Interesting hot take on what you just said. Kevin was like, I almost feel like that Kha'Zix is the legend that should have had the at this level game +1 rather than
Yeah,
because
something like
battle.
that.
Yeah. Like, I think that the weird thing about Kha'Zix for me is like it kind of reminds me of Pyke and it kind of reminds me of Vi insofar as like, yeah, you're protecting units and stuff, but like the ability to move from a battlefield feels a lot worse to me than moving like to a battlefield, right? Like
Yeah,
getting like the hold points and stuff. And so I almost feel like hitting and running as a strategy, if your legend supports that strategy, that's almost like not super great because like you want to be moving in when you can conquer and then protect, right? And I guess moving back is fine because it protects your units, but then you're not getting your hold points. And so, and buffing, I don't know, like it doesn't say draw a card, so I don't think it's good.
it doesn't. Yeah, that's fair. I do also want to build on your point where you said like they needed. I think they should have swapped it. I think Yi should be the one buffing and moving things back.
Yes.
Rather, yeah. I think that I like. Yeah, the evolving mechanic should be what Kha'Zix is.
What do you think, Hydra?
You know, I actually like this deck. I think it's
Okay.
like a low B tier, depending on skill, probably a little higher ceiling. But I think there's a lot of tricks to it. I think that's what this deck is about. You know, you're talking about the hit and
Are the
run.
tricks cute or do they win you the game?
Well, they'll win you the game. They'll win you the game. Trust. I believe in the deck. I believe in the deck a little bit. I think there's plenty of tricks you can use to like do the hit and run, ride the wind, conquer, move back, whatever the case it is, where you can get away with wins and not just like scamming or like a gimmick of it, but actually like win the game that way. I think a lot of it is dependent though on like the first time you ambush with Kha'Zix, since you get the 2 XP. And he works that way, kind of just you play him, move back, and then you can probably do it again. I think there's a lot of cool mechanics with this deck, and I think actually it kind of suits him a little bit because obviously if you played the game before and you play Kha'Zix, you kind of do a hit and run with his ultimate. Like you throw your missiles out, go back, stealth mode, come back, kill someone, stealth mode, do the same thing again. So it kind of makes sense. I don't know if that's the correct way to do the legends,
so interesting,
but
because this legend pisses me off. Like I feel like this is the least thematic legend. Out of all of the legends so far.
No, that's insane.
Like,
Hey, maybe they played the legend different down in bronze, man. But
Oh,
I'm
dude,
just
that's
saying.
crazy. That's
First
crazy.
off, I'm going Ticks, right? I'm going Ticks, okay? But like, I feel, but Kha'Zix is just so rich thematically. Like, he has 8 different abilities, right? And his passive is so interesting. Like,
Yeah.
and all you're getting out of this is a buff, which is his adaptation, and like a retreat. I don't know.
But see,
I
that's
don't
the
know.
thing,
It's a
right?
card game. What do you want me to do? Do tricks on it? Like, what's going on, bro?
Yes,
What do you mean?
dude. Well, but even something as simple as what we just talked about, right? Level 6, you get the +1 instead of E. I think that would have been infinitely more thematic than spending an XP to buff a unit.
I would rather have a good ability than a Jhin ability. That's all I'm gonna say. Hey, thematic. Jhin is thematic, okay? And he's garbage. So I'd rather. I think
Jhin,
the
but they could have changed Jhin, right? It could have been every 4 cards you cast, do a mini channel or something, right?
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
It could have
but-
been different, yeah.
yeah,
At
but
this
It's the
point,
interpretation. I don't know.
yeah, it's
honestly, I think. Wait, going back to Jin, I think at this point, I think Jin needs to say channel 4 points, and then channel 4 points. Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, if you play fucking banish 4 cards, that's 12 mana, bro. Dude,
No, that's the
you need to
thing,
get
bro.
you need to get some points for that shit. You can't fucking, you know what I mean,
Bro,
bro?
that's
You need
so
you need to
funny.
gain 4 points here, bro. Like this,
That's
dude. That's
so funny.
anyway. Yeah, that it's still crazy to me. I look over, he's like, oh, he crafted the perfect deck for Jin. Fucking get 4 dude. He just loses on the spot, bro. I'm just like, dude, this guy
Bro,
is,
Jin's already lost. There's no losing, bro. You lose on the spot when you pulled that out of your deck box.
bro.
The
That
thing is,
out.
it's de-ramping, bro. Like, you de-ramp yourself, like, it's crazy, man. Like, for
Yeah.
this
No,
fucking
Well,
big ass spell.
all right,
actually,
back to Kha'Zix. Back to
well,
Kha'Zix.
going back to Kha'Zix, wait, I want to add one last thing. Okay, so what I see, I think somebody can make a very nasty
Thank
Yasuo
you.
Kha'Zix deck. Yes, I think
Yeah.
I'm looking at this, dude. His signature spell says move and move. So
Signature spell.
you move your opponent's unit off the battlefield. You move your Yasuo on, so you gain a point from Yasuo and you conquer. That could be a win condition
The
on its own.
purple Yasuo.
Yeah. Yeah, because you and then
Even
once
green? No.
and then you move him again with the Kha'Zix legend because you spend
Yeah.
2
That's
XP.
2 move.
Dude,
Yeah.
I think there is some really
That's what I'm
cheesy
talking
stuff you
about.
can do
See?
with this.
Yeah.
And
We're warming
I
up.
think I think this could be a non-counterplay deck. I think this might be I don't know. I think
Wait,
I
wait,
might,
wait, wait. One last card. What about the fucking siren thing? That siren thing that lets you move an ability
yeah,
with
let
purple.
you move
That I
too.
read
Yeah.
up. Yeah, you move up,
Yeah.
right? Move up, move,
Hey,
move.
listen, all I'm
But
saying is
Kha'Zix
that
is so good. We just made a Yasuo deck. That means so many good things about the
yeah,
legend. Whatever, guys. Whatever.
yeah. I
Look, I'd
mean,
say he's
yeah.
B tier.
I mean, you have access, but you have access to green, yeah, no, to purple cards, and purple cards are busted. I don't care if you're a bad purple deck. You're still purple.
You're
All
a
right.
purple deck. I feel like that's just
Chat,
outdated,
listen.
but it's still good.
Guys, if you guys are
What's
watching
chat?
this, yes, chat, listen. If you guys are listening to this, purple Yasuo, once somebody tops with this deck that we're talking about with all that
We
movement,
need to buy
pur-
out
purple
the
Yasuo
purple
stocks are
Yasuos.
going up, all right? I'm calling it now. This is
I like
money
it.
making
I
moves,
like it.
investment strategy. Yeah, this is a free guide right now. You're going to have to pay
Foundry finance.
Stocks guide later, but as of now, this is a freebie. All right, make sure
Hey,
you
fuck it,
guys.
I'll do it. I'll play it. I'll play in the regional. I'll go eighth, or I go, or I.
No, I think it's legit. I think
I
that
will.
I
I'll
might.
try it. I'll try it. I legitimately
I'll
think it'll
build the
be
deck
fucking
with you.
sick.
We could play test. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
figure it out. Yeah.
Look, if we could build a deck before CCS, I'll take it to CCS.
Okay.
All right.
Oh,
Let's
I don't know.
make
I
it
don't know
happen.
about
Cool. That'd be cool.
That's money, That's not the best stuff.
Would you guys rather me play that or Vi?
I'd
That's the
rather
real
you.
All right.
question.
Yeah. No. Dude.
Just
Nice
bust
card.
out the
All right, so
jacks, man.
Kha'Zix is B tier. That's the tier list. I think that there's some stinkers, but there's some staples here. The last thing I want, because we're going a little long, I want round robin, kind of rapid fire. What do you think the most, or like what card do you think is going to be, just one card off the top of your head that you think is going to be really impactful in the Unleashed meta, starting with you, Hydra?
Repulse, definitely taking that card. I again, it gives orange the
What
way
does
out.
Repulse do?
Okay, so it lets you counter an ability in a battlefield that chooses only one of your units.
The orange.
Yeah, the orange card. So again, a lot of things. Rebuke, big strong card in purple. If they do Star-Crossed, another big card in purple. Fallen Star, a lot of things they counters now, right? It's like the orange not so fast, and I think I feel like every orange deck is gonna play this card, so it's gonna be a staple. I think it's gonna be like I wouldn't say meta defining, but it's a staple for every orange deck. That's where I'll leave it.
I think it's gonna have to be one of those like the flashy big units. We got Baron, we got Elder Dragon, we got Vilemall. I think it's gonna be one of those three. Those are gonna be like the flashy, like everyone's trying to play that. There's definitely gonna be gameplay there. I think that I think those are gonna be the cards to look at. I don't know. Yeah, those are gonna be the defining. I think.
Zedro.
Elder.
Elder?
Low skill players are gonna hate this card like no tomorrow, and people will quit and will call for a ban. And I think this will make. Hopefully, this will kill Aurora. They will ban Aurora because this will cause so much
They're not
outcry.
banning Aurora.
You say
They're
that.
not banning it.
But if enough of the community says they want to ban Aura, they will ban Aura, and that is the beauty. We can
No,
right at banning Aura.
no.
Yeah, I
Bro,
will
there's
celebrate.
Aurora's not winning anything. That's not
Doesn't
possible.
matter. It's about the toxic play pattern. Okay, it's
Dude.
about a
Okay.
toxic play
Bro,
pattern, bro.
We'll
it's
see.
kind of
That's
dude.
next week. That's next week's. Yeah, that's next week's.
We'll throw. All right. So interestingly enough, I worded my question in a specific way, insofar as it didn't have to be an unleashed card, because my personal pick is Rock Hill Path.
Okay.
Units cannot be played here. I think 50% of the decks in the meta are going to be playing this card because this card screws the other half of the really strong decks. If you play this against Vex, and you can establish on the other battlefield, Vex can't establish here. You can't play units here. She has to play him a base. She has to move him up. Same thing with Leblanc, right? Like, you can't use your legend ability if you conquer this because you can't play units to it, right? Like, Aurora, you're trying to Aurora less so, but you're trying to stack. You can't play things to here and continue to stack up. I think that this is going to be like a first match play by 50% of the decks.
It kills ambush mechanic, doesn't it too?
The game. No ambush either, right? Like,
you might be cooking. You might be cooking.
I think that this card has screwed a lot of people on the online sim in my Vi testing, and so I don't know. I think that stocks on this are going to go up pretty high.
Okay.
So that's I don't know. That's my take. That's my take.
Okay.
As far as unleashed cards, I don't know. Probably Elder. I don't know. I think Baron's bad. I think Elder's.
That's crazy.
I know. We'll see. But
Crazy man, bro.
I don't know. We'll see. But thank you for joining us, guys. Let us know what you think in the description. If we were totally right, if we were totally wrong, and that remains to be seen. And next week, we'll be talking about RQ Sydney and what happened, and we will just get to see if everything that we just said was completely right or completely wrong.
Well,
Thank you guys, and we will see you next time.